Hey everyone, it's Yvonne Emil Elizondo from Silver Moon Astrology and Transpersonal Counseling, also known as Silver Moon Counseling. And it has been a minute since I always wanted to say that. Like my daughter says that all the time, but she's 20. So anyways, it's been a hot minute. Okay. It's been a while since I shared a video with, the astrology and the energy of the astrology. I think I've missed the last 2 full moons and I missed the last 2 new moons. And yeah, I had to step away for a while. I needed to take care of me. And so I am feeling much better. I am very refreshed. I did get some lovely reach outs. And so I appreciate all of you that reached out and were like, hey, where are you? We haven't seen you. You still around? And I'm like, yeah, I'm just kind of hibernating and avoiding everybody. So I'm back. Anyhow, which is the perfect time, okay? Because we are having a solar eclipse in Aries later today, which is April 19th, 2023. And some of you may be experiencing it on the 20th, early on the 20th. So let's talk about this solar eclipse in Aries. So I want to chat about what eclipses are just a little bit and how this energy can manifest from an eclipse perspective as opposed to like a regular new moon. Okay. And I want to talk about what the energy of Aries and Taurus, because Taurus is highly involved in this one from my perspective, and maybe give you some ideas of what you can do to help mitigate or help support the energy as it manifests in your life. All right, so as usual, I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to show you the chart. Now, before I do that, let me say this. The other part of this is also Mercury retrograde is going to be involved, which I'm going to share in just a little bit. And so, yay, Mercury retrograde. We love Mercury retrograde, said no one ever. So I'm already having issues with my technology, okay, which is a classic Mercury retrograde kind of, incidental, side note, but I'm sorry about the video. The light seems to be kind of going on and off, and I don't know if it's actually affecting my video or not. And I'm not a videographer, as I've mentioned before, so bear with me. Okay, let's get started. So let's take a look at the chart. Ideally, when you see this chart, it's like, wow, there's usually a bunch of lines and a bunch of aspecting planets. And look how simple this chart is. Look, look, look. But it is a doozy. All right. So here is the new moon. Okay, and it is technically in Aries. It's at 29 degrees and 50 minutes in Aries. So each of these, with whole sign houses specifically, each of these signs is 30 degrees. And so when a planet, okay, or planets in this case, are located at the 29th degree, it is the anaretic degree. It's a critical degree. I'm not going to go into it too much here, but it is a very powerful intense degree for planets to be in. So yes, this is occurring at 29 degrees and 50 minutes. So 10 minutes later, okay, 10 minutes in the sense of like 10-minute time from astrology, okay, like not necessarily 10 minutes per se, but 10 minutes anyways. Okay, so this is, again, the new moon, okay, solar eclipse in Aries. Now, what happens is that this new moon is being squared by sign. Okay, so here we have Aries and here we have Cancer. These two signs square each other. So we have a sign-based square from Mars, all right, to this new moon. Okay, so Mars is going to have an influence in this new moon. The other fascinating part of this is that by degree, okay, so ideally by degree, Pluto is in Aquarius. Now, by sign, it doesn't square, okay? But by degree, okay, because Pluto is at the very beginning part of Aquarius, it is squaring this new moon. So we have this degree-based square from Pluto and the sign-based square from Mars. And so, yeah, all of those are, all that energy is just getting compounded into this solar eclipse. And then, of course, our favorite, we have Mercury stationing to turn retrograde, and it is conjunct Uranus in Taurus. So here's why I feel that this eclipse energy is primarily going to involve this Aries energy, but then 10 minutes later, astrologically, right, we have, which I think is like, I don't know, a few hours, we have the sun traveling into or ingressing into Taurus. Okay, so big changes happening for sure. This is a lot of change that's happening with the solar eclipse. Okay, so let's talk about what solar eclipses, how they tend to, show up. So eclipse energy in general is very unstable. Okay, and I think that this is why we fear, or maybe have concerns about, okay, or just kind of worry or don't like eclipse energy too much, because it tends to be unstable energy. Okay, now just think about it. The ancients, in the sky, when the sun was out and all of a sudden the moon crosses over, in front of the sky, it's like, whoa, okay, like what happened? Where did the sun go? Okay, this is unstable energy. Same thing with the lunar eclipse, right? So when you have, the full moon and all of a sudden it shadows out, there's like this energy of instability. So eclipses can be considered, or at least I consider them, energy that's not quite stable. Now, that's instability sometimes plays out in a more challenging way, right? Okay, sometimes we feel like we get run over by the bus, but with solar eclipses, that's not always the case. Okay, sometimes solar eclipses are like, they're unpredictable. Okay, sometimes they show up really well in people's lives, and that energy is just like super supportive, and there's massive change in their life. It's a new opportunity, new cycle, which is what solar eclipses typically represent. With every eclipse, there's a beginning and an ending. But with solar eclipses, it's usually, a sign of beginning. Okay. And sometimes they show up a little bit more unstable. Okay. So it just kind of depends on how your chart is set up. But generally speaking, what we're looking at is more instability, and unstable energy is always going to result in some sort of change. Okay. And so why? Because it's unstable, right? So you have something that's stable, status quo, status quo, status quo, instability, change. You're going to have to adjust. Adjustment is a good word for this. Okay. So that's the energy that this solar eclipse, I feel, is bringing. So now this is a 6-month long energy forecast, right? Because a new moon typically lasts for a month. Okay. But a supercharged new moon, like a solar eclipse, is going to last. The energy is going to, slowly play out within the next 6 months. So the theme for the next 6 months of this new beginning, the solar eclipse, is going to be very much Aries oriented. Now, Aries is initiating energy. Okay. It's fire. It's initiating. It's cardinal fire. It's like it goes out into the world. It's like, ta-da, here I am. Okay. Which is a perfect mantra for Aries. I am in this world. Okay. So energy is about fire. It's about action. It's about motivation. It's about, putting yourself out there. It's leadership. It's individuality. It's individuation. It's really about the self and how it integrates into the world, basically. Now, from a more mundane perspective, some of the energy that you might see is, that fiery energy, that fiery personality that kind of just says it like it is. It's very direct. Okay. So you're going to see some direct energy exchanges here within the next 6 months. The underbelly of Aries, though, is sometimes self-centered. Okay. There's sometimes a just kind of impulsivity. Sometimes Aries energy doesn't stop to think enough. It just acts. It's a very act-oriented, energy. And so sometimes it gets in trouble because it doesn't take the time to stop and really focus on what it needs to do. It just does it, right? So that's really the energy, and that's why that's change energy. It's powerful change energy. Now, Aries, is very much about, as I mentioned, about the self. So it's about how we bring ourselves into this world. Now, let's take a look at some of the changes that could be, happening, and how the Mars-Pluto can be influencing this change. So we have this, Pluto energy in Aquarius. We have this Mars energy in Cancer. But now, remember, a little bit after the eclipse, we're going to have the sun ingress into Taurus, and Taurus is fixed Earth. Okay, fixed means it doesn't move very easily. And so Taurus theme energy is about the material experience, the physical experience here in life. Okay. It's about money. It's about resources. It's about wealth. It's about self-worth. Okay. It's about, how the body, the physical body. All right. So it's about food. It's about all of those things that are pleasure. Okay. Just just participating in all those pleasurable activities. That's Taurus energy. The underbelly of Taurus, though, is that it can be stubborn. There's a difference between being persistent, which is Taurus energy, but stubborn is fixed Taurus energy. And so it can be stubborn, it can be greedy, it can be, it can lack trust in people and their environment. It can be overindulging, okay, way too much, like when you eat too many crumble cookies. Okay, so Taurus rising, hello. So these are the themes that are going to be associated with this Aries energy of leadership individuation. Okay, so now let's put it together. So the change that Pluto is bringing, Pluto is in Aquarius, okay? And Aquarius energy is air, it's the mind. And it's very much based on how you integrate the collective, okay, the people, the community, and the individual. Okay, so if you know any Aries, Aquarius energy, you'll know that sometimes there's like this aloofness to them. There's like this separation, this, detachment, because they want to be part of the community and engage, but there's always this separation. Okay, so this Pluto is Lord of the underworld. It's Hades. It brings change. It's the intensifier. It's the breaker downer. I don't know if that's such a word, but it breaks things down so that you can rebuild, right? And so when we're already focusing on change energy, there's an intensification that Pluto brings of actually changing, okay, the entire like environment or how that individual sees its individuality within the collective. Okay, I'm going to give you some more examples in just a little bit, but just go with it. Okay, so this Pluto energy is very much about breaking this down. Okay, now we're going to add the Mars in Cancer. Now, Mars in Cancer struggles. It doesn't do very well. Mars, it belongs to Aries. They're both fire energy. They're both, let's go get it. Cancer is water. So Mars is like, trying to swim through water. And I don't know about you, but we don't get very, unless you're like an Olympic swimmer, that's a different story, right? It's hard to like swim through water and get somewhere fast. So there's going to be the slowing down of Mars, okay? And Cancer energy is very protective. It is about the family. It's about friends. It's about nurturing, and it's about taking care of, okay? My daughter is Cancer moon, Cancer rising. So she's got a double whammy of Cancer. Man, she's super protective of her friends, right? So this is almost the energy that is also going to show up. Like, how are you healing or helping or integrating yourself within your friends or your family? Okay, what are you bringing to the table, right? So again, it's a lot with this solar eclipse. And then on top of that, we're going to add this Mercury retrograde in Taurus. Okay, so all of those themes of Taurus that I mentioned, now Mercury is about the mind, is communication, right? And so that's why when Mercury turns retrograde, our communication seems to just kind of go, where to go, okay? And our technology goes, where to go, right? And we have delays and travel and all of these. Am I traveling? No, I'm not traveling until after Mercury. Whew. Okay, Mercury retrograde, we're done. Okay, anyways, so we have this Taurus energy that's slow. Taurus is slow to get going unless you poke it enough, and then it gets mad, and then it gets going, right? And then it doesn't stop until it gets you. But this Mercury is going to slow things down, but it's conjunct Uranus in Taurus. Okay, so now Uranus energy is sudden change, more change. It's unpredictable change, more change. Okay, so now we have this erratic electrification, okay, of this stable Taurus energy, and now Taurus energy is no longer stable. So all of those themes of Taurus that I mentioned before can become unpredictable. Okay, now let's put it all together. What can we expect from the solar eclipse, right? We can expect change. We can expect for you to be prepared to expect change. We can expect for you to prepare for unexpected change. Yes. Did you get it? I repeated it 3 times. I was a teacher a very, very long time ago, and they told us you have to be repetitive so people get it. I hope you got it. Okay. Anyway, so this is a solar eclipse that is going to bring a 6-month-long change. Okay. It could be one event that brings this energy in, or it could be little bits and pieces of this energy within the next 6 months. It all depends on how your chart shows up. But essentially, what I want you to know is this. Okay. The universe is asking us to step into the essence of I am, this Aries energy. I am a part of the world. So my suggestion is, from a psycho-spiritual point of view, is how are you integrating your sense of individuality, okay, your sense of self into the collective? Okay, who do you want to become? This is an opportunity for us to consciously, take account into who we want to become with this Aries initiatory energy, right? It's leadership. It's about individuation, as I've said. It's about stepping into who we want to become. Now, one of the things that I have learned about life is that life is going to poke us and give us opportunity to make changes, okay, on our own, time frame. But if we don't act on those little pokes that life gives us, then life goes, really, Yvonne, you weren't listening. So now I'm going to throw you under the bus and see how you have to make change there, right? So my suggestion is, when you start to feel that need for change, when you know you're supposed to be starting to address life differently, make changes within you or how you interact with the world, okay, whatever that is for you, and you feel like you want to do it, but you don't do it, you should probably do it, because then if life is going to come in and force you to make those changes. So the solar eclipse is asking you to make these changes, okay, by creating instability, however that may, work out for you. Sometimes it's more difficult energy, unpredictable energy. Sometimes it's very supportive energy. Regardless, here is the mantra that I would like for you to use, okay? It is the I am mantra. I am a leader. I am confident. I am, initiating change. I am going to, become, well, I am being this person, because we want to stay in the present. I am, beautiful. I am amazing. I am successful. Okay. I am worthy. Oh yeah. Taurus energy really struggles with self-worth. Okay. So all those doubts and self-worth issues, maybe this would be a good time to address them. So the I am mantra, I would journal or take some time to really stop, meditate, and consider how you want to show up, okay, as a being into the collective universe. Number one. Number two, recognize that there's going to be impulsivity, okay, impulsive energy that may be happening around this time period. And so you may want to be cautious, because you might start to feel this energy a few weeks before the eclipse, which we have kind of been, and, for 6 months after the eclipse. So there may be some irritability, okay, there may be some, just annoyance, agitation that may be happening. So just be mindful of that. I'm not saying that that's going to last a whole 6 months, because then you'd be a cranky person for 6 months, and that would be a bummer. But on and off, this could also show up. Okay. And this is fire energy, right? So this is also a really good time to initiate those changes, projects, okay, work oriented, career oriented changes, but just recognize that you should expect instability within this next 6 months within those themes, and be prepared to address those changes accordingly. So when I work with my clients, they come in and they're like, oh, I'm so upset. And this happens to me too. And I'm so upset and I'm so upset. And I said, well, didn't we expect this to happen? They're like, yeah, but I'm still upset about it. And it's like, but if we know that this is going to happen, why do we still get upset? Right? Like I even do this. Why do we still get upset? So my full just recommendation is expect the unexpected. Okay. And work with it, adjust to it. Okay. That is what life is asking us to do. All right, everyone. If you want to learn more about your astrology, you can find me at silvermooncounseling.org. That is silvermooncounseling.org. And yeah, let's expect the unexpected. Big changes are coming. Take account of them. Recognize that there may be, some challenges there, but it's for your growth. It's for your potential moving forward. And this may go really easy peasy, for some people. So let's just ride the solar eclipse wave. All right, everyone. That is it for me. I will be sharing some Mercury retrograde video here soon. And because Mercury retrograde turns retrograde here in the next day or so. Yeah, on the 22nd for sure. And so again, this Mercury retrograde is influencing the solar eclipse. And I will have another video for the lunar eclipse that's happening in 2 weeks in Scorpio. All right, everyone. That is it. I'm done. Really, I'm done. I'm done. Okay, take care. Blessed be.